beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Megs.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we watched 2023's Dream Scenario. Sophie, a teenage girl, has a dream in which she sees a man raking leaves by a swimming pool. She suddenly starts floating up to the sky and cries out to the man for help, revealing that he is her father, Paul, a professor of evolutionary biology at a local university. When Paul learns that a former colleague is writing an article on a topic that he had discussed with her many, many years earlier, he seeks to confront her, but instead he ends up just begging her for some kind of recognition. Later on, when he's out with his wife Janet, Paul's journalist ex-girlfriend Claire spots him and tells him that he appears in her dreams. With his permission, she writes an article about the experience. Soon, hundreds of strangers come forward to name Paul as the man they see in their dreams. Paul enjoys the media coverage this brings, but is frustrated by consistently being depicted in the dreams as a passive and uninteresting person. In interviews with some of his students, he learns that their dreams sometimes feature disasters occurring or the dreamers asking Paul for help, only for him to remain emotionless and unhelpful. Janet asks Paul why he does not appear in her dreams and describes her fantasy of Paul rescuing her while he's wearing an oversized suit like the one worn by David Byrne in the 1984 Talking Heads concert film Stop Making Sense. He had worn it as a Halloween costume one year. Later that night, while the house is sleeping, a mentally ill man breaks in who has seen Paul in his dreams, and he has a knife, raising concerns about the risks of his fame. Paul meets with a PR firm that's headed by a guy played by Michael Cera in the hopes of securing a book deal, but they instead attempt to convince him to do advertising, and they mention Sprite on social media. Molly, one of the young assistants at the firm, invites him out for drinks and tells Paul that she has erotic dreams about him. He attempts to reenact them for her, but prematurely ejaculates and leaves her apartment in shame. Paul is enraged to learn that his former colleague has actually published a high-profile paper on the subject, about which he was thinking of writing his book. Afterwards, his presence in people's dreams becomes violent and sadistic, and he becomes vilified, being placed on leave after students refuse to attend his classes. Bystanders are bothered by his presence in public, resulting in a brawl at a diner. A teacher at his daughter's school tells him and Janet that he isn't welcome to attend the play that his daughter is in. The other parents aren't comfortable. After Janet's career is affected, she asks Paul to issue a public apology, but he angrily refuses. Paul then has a nightmare in which he is hunted and killed by a version of himself wielding a crossbow, and then subsequently releases a self-pitying apology video where he's claiming that he is the true victim here. Humiliated, Janet throws him out of the house. Paul forces his way into his daughter's school play, but accidentally injures a teacher in the process and is restrained, becoming further vilified. Sometime later, Paul ceases to appear in people's dreams. His own dream experience is revealed to have led to the discovery of a shared subconsciousness, and dreams have become an advertising space with the use of a device called Noria, which appears to be run by a corporate cult. Janet is separated from Paul and is dating a coworker. Paul travels to France for a book tour to promote his book Dream Scenario, which he learns has been retitled to something in French that translates to I Am Your Nightmare, without his consent. The book is pitifully thin in the translated volume, and his signing event has been moved to the dingy basement of the bookstore. Nevertheless, fans line up for his signed copies. Paul uses the Norio technology to enter one of Janet's dreams and rescue her while wearing the oversized suit. As he floats away, much like Sophie did in her first dream, Paul declares that he wishes the dream were reality. The end. Elizabeth?
Yes, dear.
What did you think of this movie?
Oh, I loved this movie.
I
thought it was fantastic.
Same.
It is beautiful and haunting, and he's so good in it.
Yeah.
I love the way that it tackles the kind of the seedier side of fame. Like, he really is just this nobody. And he rightfully is not getting the recognition that he deserves from his ex-friend who writes the paper.
Right.
And so he kind of dreams of this bigger world for himself. And then he starts popping up in everybody else's dreams And he's still not happy with how he is just this mundane, passive person.
But also really doesn't seem to have a whole lot of ambition to change that.
No, he's all talk. He's all bluster.
Yeah.
And when it's discovered that, all of these people are dreaming about him, he feels special for the first time in a really long time. And he is motivated to be more special by feeling more special.
Right. I mean, there's this whole... Go ahead.
That scene in Molly's apartment, like, he can't quite pull it off.
Yeah.
Right? He can't quite stop being this mundane nobody.
Right.
Even when it's being offered to him on a silver platter.
Yeah, and he spends so much of the time in this movie talking about the book that he's writing, but he's not actually writing it. He hasn't actually started writing it. Like, he wants all of those pieces to sort of fall into place before. And, like, I guess it's kind of a really interesting view of people that just expect things to happen to them.
Yes.
And then something does happen, but they're not prepared for it in any way, shape, or form because they've never tried to learn the skills to handle something like that. So, I mean, he wants to be an author. He wants to be a writer. He's already a tenured professor. He has the knowledge to do all of the things that he wants. He just doesn't have the drive. And then this situation kind of happens, and it very quickly spirals out of control because he, again, didn't do anything to have any of this happen to him. It just happened. And then instead of, looking at that and trying to be more careful about it, just lets it happen. And then, I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious from the middle where we see, the dreams start to become violent because he's not getting his way in real life. And it is it's strangely, like, emotionally charged at the same time. This movie, it kind of reminds me, it's like an amalgam of, like, Adaptation, which is another Nick Cage movie, which is also brilliant, and The Truman Show. Like, it's kind of...
Yeah, I can see that.
A weird combination. It works. It's not like it doesn't work. And not that I think that it's any type of, like, copying off of anything. It's a strange brainchild is what this movie is. It's incredibly interesting to see how someone might react, being a very mild-mannered human being with no real attention paid to you, to all of a sudden not only have so much attention being paid to you, but for something that you didn't even actually do. It's really... I love movies like this because they make you think about so many different things all at once.
Yeah.
What do you think of the costume that he was in?
I think it fits the character very well. I mean,
Yeah.
He's very... it's dowdy. Everything about this movie is kind of pitch perfect, from the costuming to, I mean, his hair, to who played his wife and what have I seen her in?
You've seen her in a bunch of stuff. She's a wonderful human being.
She's a total, hey, it's that guy.
She is. Hang on. I have her name here written down. Her name is Julian Nicholson.
And what do I know her from?
I mean, she's been in a ton of stuff. Right now, she's on a TV show with Sterling K. Brown called Paradise. She was on Hacks. She was in the Weird Al Yankovic story, Mayor of Easton. She's even done Robot Chicken. That's just like within the last like 15 years. But like she's done a ton of stuff. 10,000 Saints, Masters of Sex, Boardwalk Empire, Osage County, like a bunch of stuff. She's amazing. But she really is like a, hey, it's that guy. She's done a bunch of stuff. She's been, a couple of episodes here and there on a bunch of things. She's been in a lot of smaller productions. But every time you see her, she's a treat.
Yes.
She's
wonderful in this. She's wonderful in this.
Yeah. Her emotion is so good in this whole film. Like, there's nothing about this that doesn't scream very typical wife handling this situation.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying to, encourage her husband to go after the things that he wants, even though, she knows that he's not doing them. She's trying to support her kids and just be, a wife and a mother. And she has ambition. And not like she really, she doesn't have like a great grand job. She's got the same kind of job as him, but doing different things. I think she works for like the library commission or something of a university. I can't remember.
I thought she was an architect.
Or an architect. That's what it is. She's an architect. But she's not like they're very evenly matched, the characters. They're very well fleshed out. Their kids are very, very typical teenagers without being outlandishly like issued. It's just a very like typical sort of suburban upper middle class situation. And I think they all play it very, very well.
Yeah. I did laugh out loud when he is with Molly and she's asking him to recreate her dream. Yeah. And she reaches over and starts to unbuckle his belt and he just lets out the nastiest fart.
Yes.
And then she tries again and he just comes and then lets out an even nastier fart.
Yeah.
And that is really funny. That is so middle of the road white man.
It really is. It really is. His apology video that he made when he's going off the rails and he's like, listen, I'm the real victim here. I didn't even do anything. You guys are all mad at me and now I've had the exact same experience as you. Yeah. I had a dream where I was hunted by myself. And like, you can understand where he's coming from, but it's also just.
And his daughter is like, I'm going to have to kill myself.
Literally. Literally. And it's kind of, this movie is actually really kind of true to life in a lot of, I mean, not that this kind of scenario would come up, really, nothing that we, but the reaction is just so human. It's not outlandish. It's not over the top. It's not even subdued. It's very, I think, on the nose of how a regular person would react to something like this.
Yeah. What would you rate this movie?
I would give it an A. I think it's a really interesting, well-written, well-directed, well-acted film. The pacing was very good. It was different. I mean, this is definitely like some kind of horror movie, but it doesn't feel like horror. I would give this movie an A. What are your thoughts?
I would agree with an A. I think it's an A. What would you give the caginess of it?
I think Cage deserves an A for this as well. It, again, is a very sort of subdued part that we rarely see from him. A lot of his characters do have like very over-the-top areas. He does have, a couple of moments in this movie, but it's so scaled back that he put like that stoppage on himself to like not go over the top. It feels like a very out of control, controlled performance, which is an interesting and honestly, I appreciate it kind of character from him. So for me, it's an A. What about you? Oh,
I agree 100%. It's an A.
Well, I mean, that's going to be it for us, folks. Like, unfortunately, we don't really have a whole lot to say about this. All of the big words. It's gorgeous. It's well acted. We recommend it. It's weird. It's normal at the same time. So yeah, it's an A film with an A effort from Cage. All of the other actors in it were also A performances. So that's where we're going to leave it. We would recommend this film. If you've made it this far, we certainly appreciate that. We appreciate you coming along with the journey. It's been a crazy one and we're enjoying it still. We would appreciate if you would interact with this episode in any way that you can. You can find us on YouTube at Not the Beast Pod. We are on all of your regular podcasting apps. You can also find us on socials on Instagram at Not the Beast Pod. And if you are feeling generous, which we hope that some of you are, which we definitely appreciate, if you want to kick us a couple of bucks, you can find us on patreon.com/notthebees. But that is going to be it for us this week. I've been Megs.
And I've been Elizabeth.
And we'll catch you next time.